First of all, what is an awakened inner Shakti? That's my core belief. What I believe truly is that all of us, we have that infinite, innate potential within us, but we just happen to not recognize it, not notice it, and sometimes even knowing, but not really allowing that to drive our lives. We don't let that potential ever come out. And people like you and I, or many of us, we let it out, but not at its fullest capacity. And the reason is because life happens, and the life happens, we react sometimes we respond, depends how uniquely intertwined is those events with our emotions. But all in all, it's just a belief, a very strong belief, which I want to be like I want to transmit that belief and that frequency that we are the powerhouse, we are the source ourselves, and we have the power to change everything around us and live our life to the bestest of our desires. It's not that a lot of people say, okay, you can't get all at once, you cannot have all together. But I think you also in a lot of things, right? I've seen you, your, persona, you're always happy, always, finding alignment. I've seen you, even like recently when you visited your family, it is a clear projection of how you receive life. So that's the inner Shakti belief, that we want to tap into that power within us. Goal of this, goal of this workshop is basically to see and recognize that what is the true potential within us, and to identify what is our current frequency. Are we emitting the frequency that we really want to? And is it aligned with all the desires that we have in our hearts? So that's the, and in case if the setting is not how you like it, the frequency is not how you like it, then we'll look into how to shift the frequency, how you can change the setting from your default settings.
And our topic છે ને, it's so close to my heart. And I'm so much like keen to learn more because
Oh,
I do feel it myself. Okay, I have certain frequency in mind that in which I want to operate, but time to time, or I would say like in majority of the time, I'm not able to operate within that frequency. And
wow.
because of external influences, there are so many factors which affects, but I get carried away rather than being able to hold my own frequency. એટલે બહુ મારા મગજમાં છે ને કે કન્ફ્યુઝન બી છે, ક્વેશ્ચન બી છે, but
That's
let me know. I don't want to
amazing.
break your flow. એટલે I can hold all the question or anything like up till end.
So in the sequence, but if you have like, particularly, okay, that's what we are discussing right now, and exactly that's the question that's very much resonating with you. So welcome to the, like you can just initiate the conversation. We don't have to wait till the end and all that. Unless now
But
very
I
few.
will consider myself privileged,
Oh,
to be
that
able
is
to go
so
through it.
sweet of you. No, that is so sweet of you. I think we are all here to, create and contribute. That's the two goals of life. Eventually, that's what makes us feel whole. So,
Yeah,
and everybody in every single minute is learning from everybody. Life is
yeah,
teaching
very
us
true.
such beautiful, precious gems of lessons. And if we receive it as lessons, then we change our lives very beautifully.
સાચી વાત. Yep, yep.
Awesome. So I'm glad, first of all, that you are very, open, and most people don't talk. So most people hold themselves back. But when you talk, it's easy. It's easy for me to also flow in directions where it may be needed more, because Atyanath, I'll be going as structured. Um,
Correct.
but as much as I've seen, like I've seen so many times people come and talk to me, and it's so beautiful that you receive exactly what you want to receive, what you are tuned into receiving. And
સાચી વાત.
such different topics will come up with one person versus the other. And no matter what is planned, but it all depends on the vibrations that you are emitting and the frequency that you want to lean into. And that will automatically bring that out of me. When I was actually structuring the course, you won't believe it must have taken me more than 4 months. Why? Because I have
Oh,
so
wow.
much knowledge that I'm not able to align chapter by chapter. I feel, oh, if I teach this, then somebody before learning this has to learn this. So then I feel, oh, before learning this, they have to understand this. Oh, before understanding this, they have to have a knowledge for this. And I've just going in circles and circles and circles, and it doesn't stop anywhere. So I was like, let me just put the class on and we'll see then if it, okay, goes in different tangent, then I'll understand that, okay, that should be my order, if that makes sense.
ચોક્કસ. Yep,
Right?
perfect. And
So
definitely, in this particular, I wouldn't say subject, in this era or in this space, definitely I have lot of thoughts. So I can be a good student.
that's amazing. That is amazing. I always tell everybody that as much as a student wants a good teacher, a teacher is far more in love and in search for a very good student, because then you feel that all your knowledge transferred was worth it, right? There is information out there everywhere. I kept asking myself actually for a while that why am I doing this course, creating this course? There's so much knowledge out here, you on a fingertip, right? આપણે એક phone પર click કરીએ અને you have all the kinds of YouTubes, all the questions and answers છે. So what's the need for me
True.
to do this? But there is two needs to do this. One is that it is structured, so now people don't have to search. People don't have time to ask 10,000 different questions and look at 10,000 different answers and then figure out which really resonates with them.
And
And
even one step even prior, okay, they don't have time to think about understanding the problem. કે
so
આમ થયું,
true.
હા આમ થયું તો આ મારો વાંક, આ પેલાનો વાંક, આ પેલીનો વાંક, આમ નતું, આમ નતું. પણ nobody has time to take a deep thinking to understand કે એમાં real problem શું છે. જો
Exactly.
problem ખબર પડે તો then you want to figure out answer. પણ જ્યાં સુધી
Absolutely.
પ્રોબ્લેમ જ ખબર ના પડે તો વોટ એવર જ્ઞાન આપણે સર્ચ કરીએ ઇટ્સ ગોના બી irrelevant.
Exactly. Problem ખબર જ ન હોય તો search જ શું કરો તમે? So
Yeah.
true. અને ઇન્દ્રનીલ વર્ષોથી he always teaches awareness. Awareness is the first key. Most
Hmm.
people don't even realize that they are trapped.
Um,
And I'm glad that there were 40 people who registered. Whether any people somewhere thought that, yeah, we are trapped somewhere. So let's figure out where are we getting stuck? What is the trigger? How can we shift? So
hmm.
at least those 40 people are aware. Now, awareness is just the first step, but then you
Correct.
have to lean into it. And like you said,
પછી
most people
પુરુષાર્થ.
don't have the time. And even if they are stuck, they feel, okay, right now, let me solve this. Let me figure this out. Let me figure that out. Then I'll go and take the personal growth lessons so that I can shift. But the personal growth is required so that you can shift.
બહુ
But most
સાચી વાત
people
છે.
feel that let me finish this, let me solve this, then I will go into this. That's where I think most people are staying stuck, not getting stuck, but staying stuck in that same frequency. You
Hmm.
keep repeating the same patterns, same reactions, same life, same reality, same everything remains the same. And then your complaints remain the same.
Very true.
So, so that's what it is. That's what the lesson is, the thermostat and the thermometer. What is the difference is thermometer is just going to give you the temperature. How does it give you the temperature? By reacting to the temperature outside.
Hmm.
So that is the external locus of control. Your
Yeah.
external environment is controlling you.
Correct.
But then thermostat is somebody who has built that frequency that no matter the rain, no matter the sun, it can change the frequency so the state of the environment of the room stays the same. Similarly, no matter the external situations, which is what is the external locus of control, which you can't control. If it's not season, it is people. It is people, their opinion, their judgments, their beliefs, their reactions to you, their behaviors, past stories or past whatever happened. your future outcomes, everything it's uncertain. It cannot be controlled by you. But most of us struggle in that why did that person do that? Why did that happen to me? What is going to happen next? And we are so caught up with that we just get into that reactive zone, and we only keep measuring the atmosphere instead of regulating the atmosphere.
સાચી વાત. And I definitely want to learn some theory how to become thermostat rather than thermometer.
Absolutely. And that's the best part of it, that all of us can do it. And I always say that if I can do it, so can you. I am not come from heaven. I am the same human being as you are, or as anybody else is. There is a way to it, a discipline to it. But as long as you apply the discipline, you can do it. Anybody can do it. But you have to have that will. The first thing is the will. So that's where most people, and that's another part to it, right? Most people think that if I have a desire, I can do it. The desire alone doesn't do anything, right? Desire
Hmm.
is an empty dream without any structure, without any hopes of manifesting that dream. So most people feel they want to do it, but they don't give it their due attention or focus to it, to anything, whether it is just setting the frequency or whether it is achieving any kind of things, anything, whether it is emotional well-being, whether it is money, whether it is whatever. There is a desire. Most people have the desire, but most people don't have the time, first of all, to focus on it, and the discipline that even if they have the time, to use it in the direction where it is useful for them. So that's
સાચી વાત.
what thermostat method is about, that it's recognizing your own patterns. Where are we stuck? Where are we getting, in that loop constantly? And we are not even realize, we don't realize. So most often times we'll react, and a day or two or three in, we realize, I wish if I didn't react this way, probably it would have been better. I don't know for others, but at least for myself, for my well-being. Right?
સાચી
And
વાત.
that's
મારે
what
પણ
it is.
એવું બહુ જ થાય કે પાછળથી થોટ્સ આવે કે I should have done this or I should not have done this, અને એમાં પછી સ્ટક થઈ જવાય. Becomes
And
the
then
loop.
it's a cycle.
હા.
Right? So that's very true. So that's what we want to build. We want to build that emotional resilience, that mental fortitude that's so protected that that's your space, that's your inner sanctuary. Nobody can invade it. We do not give the power to others. The power lies within you. So you keep it to yourself. You don't allow others. And then you build your frequency, and you keep building, you keep building, you keep building to you rise so much, so that anything, any people, any person, any event, any experience, any opportunity which is not, or rather not opportunity, but anything which is not in alignment with your frequency has to fall out. The problems don't get solved. That's what we have written. The problems doesn't get solved. It just runs out of conditions to exist because it needs a matching frequency. And if you are no longer a match to that frequency of problem or of whatever that feeling is, then it cannot any longer exist in your presence.
Wow, that's so powerful.
That's
ડેફિનેટલી હા, કારણ કે પેલું કે ને કે આપણે જ ઉદ્દીપકની જેમ વર્તતા હોઈએ ઘણી વખત સિચ્યુએશનમાં, which will elevate the situation rather than if we don't give the fuel, the situation will subside on its own.
so true. So true. And it's so true. Fuel is the perfect word, because so even in further this, we'll see that our emotions are the fuel. So as soon as we give attention to any subject, it starts to amplify. Right? So that's where most of us struggle. And yes, agreed. Okay, pela aam karyu, other person did this, so and so things happened. But now what? Now what? Can you change it? That's why the external locus of control, it is not in our control. No matter what it is, however, like it was true, it was real, it was not your fault, no matter whatever it is, what about it now? Is it, first of all, is it in your power to do anything about it? No. What can you do? You can only have internal locus of control. What can you control? What is in your hands? Your perspectives, your judgments, your actions, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. What is
Correct.
in your power is often neglected because we don't realize that that's the power, that's the engine, that's what is making everything happen in our lives. So that's where we are stuck. Now, what it is why do we want to learn the thermostat method? Why do we want to even learn the thermostat method? The main thing is to be happy, right? What is the sum total of happy? Happy is abundant success, a sum total of abundant success. Success not in one area, everything, right? We want a happy family. We want a peace of mind, contentment. We want money also. We want good health also. Everything, any part of it, if neglected, you are going to feel a little incomplete. So we can say sometimes, the brain is so tricky. We do happen to tell ourselves, oh, you know what, anyways, that's not my point of focus right now. Like, for example, I'll be honest, I do that with my health. Recently I've been very, very good about it. I walk 5 miles a day, but I in between I was just like, yes, I'm very focused and I wanted to create my course and I wanted to, make a big impact in the world and then the universe, and it's a good cause, everything is wonderful. But if I'm going to not take care of my health, that part of me is lacking something then. So the again, the idea is that the sum total of happy and whole is all of the aspects are equally in resonant frequency, which is giving you that feeling of happiness, joy, peace, wholeness overall. Now, if that's what we all desire, and that's the biggest question that most people have, or maybe they don't know, probably a lot of people don't realize that, okay, if I want it so much, I want peace so much, or I want this course to happen so much, or I want money so much, then why is it not happening? I really want it. I never once think that I don't want it, right? So that's where the entire game starts, that we have all the desires in the world, but the desire requires all of your agreement from all three aspects of you: your emotions, your desires, and your intellect, and your identity, which is the biggest, that's the framework of the entire course. Your identity has to agree with what you are going for. So, for example, if I want to create $1 million in 1 month, my identity has to agree that making $1 million in 1 month is possible. If my identity will not agree, no matter how much I desire, I cannot create. I cannot create a manifested expression which is equivalent to the desire that I carry. So the challenge is, if the identity has to be in sync, then how do you guide your identity? So even when you have the desire, first of all, even if you put your attention, intellect is what? You have the ability or you have the knowledge that, yeah, others are building this kind of empire. I can do it. So that's knowledge, that's intellect. Your logic says, yeah, other people are doing it, but then it's other people's reality. So your identity is still not sitting in sync with it. Now, what is holding us back? What keeps us in that loop and does not let the identity move forward in the direction? That is our subconscious beliefs, our thought patterns. What do we think every day? If we keep thinking the same thing, oh, those people are different. People who can generate $1 million in a month, those are just built different. That's our narrative. That's the story we tell. When others make it, we say, what do we say? Ah, they must have cheated. They must have, it's not easy. They are greedy. They really want far more. You are not at all in the frequency with that $1 million. Your identity cannot move in that direction. All of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your beliefs, everything has to align for you to first even allow your identity to come into that perspective that it's possible. So most of us, what do we do? Another thing is, this is beautiful, choosing a victim mindset. What does that mean? Choosing a victim mindset. That it's not that literally you are saying that I'm a victim of everything, but somehow, some way we say we did not get the same background as they did. We did not give the same education as they did. They got the head start before us. They are in their 20s. I'm in my 50s. Like so many narratives, but that's the victim mindset. That means again, we come back to the same thing, the external locus of control. That external reality or things that have gone already past, it's not even your existing current present. In the current moment you may have that opportunity, but you are just so in sync with what has not been in favor with you, and that keeps you stuck in that zone. So, and another one, this the known discomfort. That means that's so wonderful that that's my favorite line. I keep saying we all become comfortable in a very uncomfortable place, because it's like how we go in a hot tub. If it's really hot water, you don't put all of your body straight in. You first put your feet, then you go a little bit deep. You go a little bit deep, and you start getting accustomed to that. And that's our uncomfortable situations of life. We start settling for whatever we are receiving, and therefore we keep, increasing our capacity to move in sync with it. And that's how we do become, a frequency which is okay with whatever is being received. That's where that becomes our set point, that becomes our baseline, that's fine, that is my normal. Even though it's so hot, it's my normal. It's the same thing. We are now so used to 74 degrees in temperature in the house that now 85 cannot be, it's unbearable. But we were able to bear it before. Why? Because we were used to it. So we get so used to our uncomfortable situations that it does not bug us anymore. It doesn't trigger a response where we take an initiative to move out of it until it is gone to a point where it's repeated, and then finally somewhere, somehow, your set point is broken apart. That's no longer, it's not acceptable anymore. Now it's not negotiable. That's when you probably move out of the stuck zone. So I say,
True.
any of the feelings, if we are feeling from all of this, whether if you are feeling scarce, that means it's not abundant. There is always lack. There are other people can have it, I don't have it. Or if we are triggered, that means we get reactive immediately. Somebody doesn't go according to our will or our decided, whatever plans that we have decided. Even sometimes, even if it is the universe going against it, we get upset. Oh, why did God have to do that to me? Or our children. Oh, I wanted to do this. Now, guys, you want to plan this? No matter what it is, if we are getting triggered, if we feel lack, if we are uncertain all the time, what will happen? We are thinking about what's going to happen, what will happen, how will it happen, will it be taken care of or not? If we are confused, and confused is such a, actually, it's so intricate that we don't realize it. And I'll give you again my own example that I kept feeling. So I have now been very, very well aligned with my purpose. But there was a time in between, a timeline which we all have to go through, is from when we are going from point A to point B, there is a time lapse. You have to, there is a time lag. You cannot be from point A to point B in the same given time unless you have achieved that kind of frequency where you are always resonating at the desire and the manifested expression at the same time, which is my goal, which is the teachings of these classes are also eventually, it's of course the phase by phase or the chapter by chapter, it leads eventually into that direction. But otherwise, most of us are in the lag time, and in that lag time we just get confused, conflicted, mentally cluttered. I was in that state that, okay, why do I have to really pursue the purpose while I leave my profession? That's my bread butter. Why should I leave that? It's so successful. Why should I leave that? But you have to leave, you have to go to point B, you have to leave point A. You cannot stay where you are and
Definitely
go
not.
to point B. You have to let go of one breath before you can catch another one. It's like simple law, but it's so hard when it comes into our normal living. These laws are forgotten. It is as simple. It's we are trained with that, right? That okay, you have to let go of one breath before you catch another one, and it's normal for us. Why is it so abnormal for us to reach point B after leaving point A? You have to leave point A, but it does get kind of, trappy. And the problem with that is that sometimes even the confusion feels that you are not confused. You are just analyzing your, pros and cons. That's how the brain tricks us. I'm just analyzing. Like I remember when especially my husband, my kids, all of them are very aligned and they can tell. And they have learned enough of all of this from us that they'll tell that, Mom, you are feeling stuck. Mom, get out of that frequency. Or Indranil will be reminding me. And it's so wonderful that, I can recognize it when they tell me, and yet I will go ahead and contradict it. This is not confusion, guys. I have to analyze. It's just like I have to. There has to be a logic going somewhere. It's not, this, that, but it does not align with my belief system. The truth is that, yes, that was confusion, but we don't want to accept. And just because we constantly are learning this and upgrading ourselves, we can instantly, when they tell us, even though we reject that idea or that, um, when they tell us, even if I reject it, the next morning I am very well aware. Rather
True,
not
and
even the
that's
next morning, probably while they are saying, I know it, but I don't want to accept it. That's the ego. And that comes. And that's fine as long as it doesn't stay, you know, um,
your
active.
mindset should
Yeah.
not
If
stuck.
your ego
Yeah.
does not.
As you said, like it's a mindful decision that you want to make to choose between the journey of point A to B, whether you want to do that journey, whether point A is important or B is important, because definitely you have to leave one to be able to achieve the second one.
Absolutely. And you have to be able to believe so much in point B that you can leave point A. But till you
And
don't
is
build
that
that kind of trust and conviction, either you are going to be trapped in that confusion loop or you will never begin the journey.
true? And what you just said, like, you have to so much believe in that point B so that you can, identify the journey or you can move yourself into that frequency.
That's so
Is
true.
that the manifestation, or manifestation has more to it?
So, point B. So, again, point B, like you said, manifestation, right? Manifestation is just a physical, manifested expression of your desire. That's the manifestation. That means the desire comes in your heart, then your thought analyzes it and wants it. Maybe, yes, I think this is what I want. Because I can even think so many different things, but not everything is a burning desire, right?
Huh.
There are some desires that they come, they surface, but it doesn't really, good. That's good. It's good to have, but it doesn't make a big difference in my life. But if the desire keeps surfacing, then your mind starts thinking, okay, the heart is giving me indications. It's been thinking so long. Maybe I need to put some of my attention in there. Now there is conversation, a conversation between your heart and your beliefs or your thoughts. And then
Mhm.
that conversation, if somewhere solidifies, if the, because your mind, again, right, your belief has to agree. So once your belief kind of somewhere settles down that, yes, this is possible. Yes, this would be nice. Yes, I think I want it. That's when you put a set an intention. Now it is an intention. Now it's not no longer just a desire that's fluttering in your heart. Now there is alignment.
Mhm.
Now there is a solid intention or a solid desire that this is it. This is what I want. Now, whether you want to leave the point A is still, that's still the next part of the journey. But now the first course, that your mind became aware of your desire. And now your
Right.
mind said,
And
okay, let's go together.
right. So if I can, share a abstract scenario, let's say I do have a very strong burning desire for, say, either it's like I want to get into that frequency and operate at that frequency level. That could be like the aim. or it could be physical aim that I want to do this. Like in your previous conversation, you gave an example of say $1 million, just making it up. But like if, there could be some goal that you may have, and I do have two goals in my life, and for that I don't think I have a confusion. I'm ready to make that journey and I want to get there. Now, how do I manifest that? That I want those two goals. Like, how do I align my,
Identity. It's
identity so that I can become that?
absolutely. So, and that's this course about. So again, course is like 16 weeks. I have 12 weeks and I have a 16-week format for this. But today I was just trying to put in together at least something that's more, it's like practical tools by the end of it. So at least you can begin somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we will lead into that why, because then of course it does get specific, why, where are you stuck? Okay, what is your pattern? Because then there is a lot of analysis that you will also have to do for yourself. Where
Right.
are you getting stuck? And it's not, okay, my belief is ready, or my thought is ready, or my intention is burning, or I have a burning desire. Like there is so much. The matrix, my Indranil says, my husband, he keeps using this word matrix and it's his favorite word. And as he uses more and as I am diving into more of it, I realize that what is a matrix. Matrix is like a whole web, like a spider web. So it's not surface level. Yes, I can give you 2 or 3 or 5 tools that you can start doing. But then there are the details that you will have to lean into. And the more you lean into it, the details will
Yeah.
start to emerge from you, within you.
Mm.
Like it will give you some direction and some ideas of what should be the, where are you getting exactly, which point is your stuck point, right? My stuck point was that I kept believing that I am very focused, this is my focus. But it was not only my focus, it is, I get over. So focus is good. So now that's a whole nother chapter, maybe the other time we'll do. And that is the brain network. There is a DMN and an ECN, and it can, either one can get hyperactive. So the hyperactive is also not good. It's the magic is in the union of both. They're both going in the same direction. So I do get where then I stop enjoying the small things. I stop becoming
Uh-huh.
present because I'm so focused. But I kept saying that I'm very focused. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. But if I cannot be present in the present, then it's not a good thing. So it is about how, what, like, to catch yourself. And the good thing is, like, you are aware. People who are joining today are all people who are aware. They have come to a point where they have realized that, okay, there is a desire, there is a manifestation which is possible, but somewhere the lag time is too long, or they have not been able to begin the journey. So the first step is already you've taken, that there is, you have identified 2 goals, and which is going to be only 2 today. And then once you accomplish those 2, there are going to be more. Because when I thought I wanted to make only, just enough as a realtor to just, kind of as pocket money, as some extra money. I don't need to kind of, I never had the desires. I was always a homemaker. So I was happy with my world, with my 5 children, my Janu, my cooking, my this, my that. I'm happy. But then once you do that, then you realize, oh, there is so much within me that I can do. Then you do more, then you do more. And as you keep achieving, you keep transcending into the higher version of yourself. And the higher version of yourself will never be happy with what you have just achieved, will always want something else. So,
So true. It's,
so it's
I
perfect
call
that
it
you
like
at least,
moving target syndrome, that
yes,
you are always moving your targets.
absolutely. And I was initially a little bit upset with that idea with myself, because my husband is so spiritual. So he knows the end goal is moksha, end goal is liberation, end goal is to not be attached to any desires. So it was hard for me to accept that, okay, this is a desire, even though it is a purposeful desire. I want to make an impact, that's my desire. Nonetheless, it is still a desire. So it does get challenging sometimes with your own self to have that kind of patience and to accept that, okay, this is how I want it, and this is what I want, and I should have it. Like, lot of people, I believe that a lot of money is not required. Like a lot of money is greed, or a lot of money is, you know, if you have enough to run your house, if you have enough for good comfort, who dictates what's good comfort? A good comfort for someone is, um, I know, નેતરને શું કહેવાય? I don't know. Like just a
Yeah.
just a plank of, rope plank to sleep on, and just stars to look at in the night. And there are people who go in and live on the terrace of the building. It's not a terrace flat, on the terrace of the building, and they're happy with their lives. And for some, the comfort is that I have to have the AC, I have to have $1 million coming in, I have to have a custom home, I have to have that. And that's fine. You define your comfort, you define your desire, and you go live with it. You are meant to live with it. So now the question you asked is that, okay, if I have these two goals, how do I manifest? And the answer lies, no matter what you want to manifest, everything is tied with your identity. So your identity is the blueprint that you have come with. You are born with that blueprint. And you are born with that same power that some other person who has achieved that goal in life. The same exact things that they have, you have it in you. But it is in the identity, in your blueprint, sitting as a potential for you to unlock it. And that's why the desires occur. The desires happen so that you can unlock that potential and start pulling out the gems of your own potential energy, which has so much stored within you, which you are not even aware of, because you have never wanted to tap into it, because whatever you had, you are content with. So content is good, but content will only keep you where you are. There was a point that I had a problem of not being content. I was like, no, not being content is not good, because content is where we want to be all the time. Because content gives you peace.
Correct.
So
Yep.
content is very important if you are really content. But
True.
if you
But
cannot, if there is, if
how do we know what's in our blueprint?
oh, in your blueprint, you have everything that the divine has. You have the power, you have the courage, you have the abundance, you have prosperity, you have money, you have peace, you have family, beautiful family life, you have love, you have beautiful body, you are healthy, you are fit. You name it and you have it. Everything sits there in your potential, eagerly waiting for you to tap into it. The goal we took this human birth is to tap into that potential and experience the fullest and highest expression of that potential.
Right.
So there are two ways to go about anything. One, you just believe because I said that there is, or you can keep searching for more education on it, like for more resources on it. And in different ways, different masters have said this. Even after that, it's a choice whether do you want to believe it or you want to stay stuck with what others believe. Not because others, see, when others don't believe, it becomes hard for you to believe.
Yeah.
If others believed, yeah, everybody has the same potential, then you would believe, because that's your conditioning. So now that's the next part that we are going. So blueprint is what you truly are. And what you truly are is an exact, perfect, highest, fullest expression of the divine herself. That's who you truly are. That's your true blueprint. That's your authentic identity. That's who you truly are. That's who you are meant to be. That's who you are created to become. But then the real experience that we are experiencing is what we think is our reality, and therefore it is our conditioning. The reality conditions us, and we feed into the same reality. So that's a loop. It's like a feedback loop. And everything that you are perceiving is exactly how you are receiving. And if we have heard so many people saying this, I always meet good people. I always have people around me who will come and help me. I always have people who appreciate me. You are always going to find those kind of people. But now if you say, oh, I always have struggle in my life. I have to achieve one thing. I have to work 5 times more than others. Well, that's your reality. The universe says, yes, ma'am, that's the command. I receive it and I'll give it exactly how you want it. So now the universal principle. What is that? It is as below, so above. So that's what you are sowing. What is in your roots is what is going to appear as your fruits. You cannot put a seed of an apple tree and then see peaches on it. You will only see apples on it. So what are you sowing is what you are going to experience in your manifested life. And what you sow is, how do you sow? You sow it with your values, your experiences, your environment, your emotions, your narratives, your habits, your actions, your decisions, your thoughts, your emotions, everything together is building your identity. And that's the seed that you keep putting and you keep putting, and then you keep putting the new seeds. But what are the new seeds are usually, generally in the same frequency. They are of the same frequency unless you break that paradigm. Now, what is the paradigm? The paradigm is, like we discussed in the few slides back, I said that that's your set point. So if you see, like very simple actually, a doctor's son or a daughter can easily become a doctor. An actor's son or daughter can easily become an actor. A teacher will become a teacher. A businessman will become a businessman. A millionaire's son will feel, yeah, money grows on tree. That's fine. Money can happen so fast. So it's why? Because that's the conditioning and that's your set point. That means if my dad made $1 million, then it's easy for me to make $1 million. If my dad made $50,000, then I think 50,000 is a lot of money and that's the max that most people can make. So that becomes my reality. That set point is my reality. That set point is where I operate off of. That's what I can, your paradigm. So it's a wonderful thing that I've written. I don't even know if that slide is here, but you can only dream as big as your paradigm.
Correct. Now that's so true. And I
Right?
think
So that is
okay.
that when you are a thermometer, everything externally is just, you are just measuring that, you are reacting to that, you are showing what's the condition outside. So in your reality, you are reflecting the condition that's external. But
Right.
when
It
you
makes
learn,
so much more sense now.
when you see the
Now
image,
that
I'm
I'm
such like, you will have this image in front of you mentally. You will be
yep.
like, okay, do I want to be a thermostat or a thermometer? And that's the, so I used to do affirmations. I'm a thermostat, not a thermometer. And I used to do it
Definitely.
religiously. I had many other affirmations that I did, but one of them was this. And since then, it was in my psyche that, okay, it is so important to be a thermostat. And who
Yep.
knew
And
that I would
especially those
create a
two
course?
bottom process flows, that makes so much sense.
The external
Like,
locus of control and your internal locus of control.
exactly. And
And
that's a key
how
to
we tend
operate
to
at
quickly
thermostat
blame.
level.
Yes. And we don't realize when we are operating on that scale. So what will happen is eventually, if you, when you keep progressing with all these classes and when you keep doing this, or when you even forget further classes, even when you are doing just one, this thing, if you just ingrain it in you and you're constantly just becoming aware, that will make a whole lot of difference in you. So what happens is, first you react like a thermometer, and then 3 days after you realize that I should have been a thermostat. Then as you keep practicing, now you are reacting like a thermometer, while you are still realizing also that actually if I don't choose this, I can be a thermostat. If I don't choose it, but you are not still so much in control of your own reaction. So you still react, but it's your reaction and your realization is happening at the same time. And then
Correct.
slowly,
Yep.
gradually from there, you move into, you'll react one time or three times, but you will regulate it. You'll be regulating it or will be able to regulate it once. Then slowly it will be, you'll react one time, but regulate three times.
Right. Yeah.
So
And that's where we get into the zone that the frequency that you want to operate within.
yes. When you become a
Wow.
thermostat, you are in a frequency and you choose that this is my frequency and I refuse to turn around. I refuse to let anything distract me from the vibrations that I'm emitting right now. This is my frequency, period. There is nothing that can, that nobody, no person, no event, no, nothing holds the power to shift my focus until I decide to. And I choose not to shift my frequency because this is the frequency where I want to operate it from. And this is the frequency I'm in love with. And this is the only frequency that dominates within me. Right here, there are 5 affirmations that you can do daily.
Perfect. No, this is pretty and this is so meaningful. Okay. Yeah, we can go to the
And it exists
yeah.
at the same time. It's up to us to access it or stay stuck with the desire or get around and as it's revolving, grab it while you can see the heads or the tails, whatever you prefer. So,
Right.
and that's your focus.
Love it.
That's how you train your focus. We finished this, we finished this, we finished the stuck, internal blueprint. Is a person who joined us, Divya T. We were stuck with this one, which is built by the standards you set. So that's your set point. And you will see, like I said, okay, a rich person's, son can become rich easily. A poor person's son stays poor. But that's not the true reality. There are people who will go hit the breakthrough. That's the ceiling. So your identity ceiling decides the ceiling of any of your, aspects, like whether it is, there was the happy one. No matter whether it's contentment, harmony, peace. Like for my husband, peace and calm comes super easy. For me, I'm elated half the times and aggravated sometimes. So I'm getting in the balance of it where I realize that, okay, no, everything is important. Like I have been neglecting my health for a while. Not that I have any health conditions, but how long can you keep neglecting until it starts to show up in your reality? It's wherever focus goes, wherever your attention goes, energy flows. It's such an old saying, and we all realize it, but do we put our attention to exactly what we want in our lives? So that set point is your paradigm. Now, what is the paradigm? Paradigm is your vessel. It's a container that holds all of you. It holds your ego identity, the conditioned identity, and it also holds the authentic identity. So now, if you see this and this is reality, it's not just a thought. Everybody knows about a bonsai plant. What is a bonsai plant? The same seed of the oak tree, if you plant it in a small, shallow dish, it will be a bonsai. It will be a small version of the same thing. What does it mean, small version of the same thing? It has every single component of the same oak tree, which is so huge. It has same exact blueprint, same exact components to it, but it is a dwarf. It is small. And that's what we do to ourselves. We allow ourselves to be in the container that society has built around us or our family has built around us. We are a recording machine until the age of 7. So until the age of 7, our container is being built. And that's why it matters what is that environment that we are raising our children in, or where we were raised, or whatever it could be. So when I now reflect, now that when I know all that I now know, there are so many things that I would have not done or spoken. Nonetheless, my kids are wonderful, but I still feel that certain words, the way I spoke, may have not been my language or my tone if I knew what I know now. For that matter, even right now, right now, when I say, oh my God, seriously, I just cannot do it. When I say I just cannot do it, I just fed into my container and I shrinked my container by a little. Now, it's a different thing that I keep expanding my container by doing gratitude, by focusing on what I want, by doing affirmations, by constantly feeding myself the right thing. And obviously, just one statement like this is not going to shrink it drastically, but nonetheless, it is still playing a part in it. So that's where we don't realize we do not hold our tongue and we do not think before we speak. And forget even speaking, because speaking is the already expression of the thought. So the strength lies in the thought itself. So even as a thought, we should not be allowing the words that we should not speak. Forget it. No, don't speak. Don't even think. But are we even conscious? Are we aware of what we are thinking? That's the question. So make that paradigm expansive. Like, and right here, if you see past conditioning, small thinking, I just said, right? Oh, it's not. Those people are different who can make $1 million in a month. It's not me. That's small thinking. Limiting beliefs. That's my belief. That's limiting my expansion. Right? So the expansion comes, first of all, how does that expansion come? First of all, again, like I said, you have a choice. Either you just simply believe or you do so much research. There is so much research. If you do research somewhere or the other, I keep looking for those information because that's feeding into my belief. I do have the belief, but it's adding to my belief more and more and more in whichever direction I want to go. So empower yourself with education, with the knowledge of that, whatever your desire is, that it's doable. If others have done it, you can do it. Or just simply believe. I love to believe. I'm a believer just by nature. But not everybody is, and that's all right. But if you are a believer, then one thing I say is, okay, you have not believed so far in that reality and it's not occurred. What's the worst that will happen if you believe in that reality? Nothing. That reality may come true. That's an option. That's a possibility. So why not explore it? And if that exploration of that possibility requires you to believe, then believe. That's how simple it is. Were you able to change your reality? Or say if you're happy, everything is good, but if you want to achieve a certain goal, if you are not able to achieve that goal so far, then you can make a small tweak and just assume, okay, 1 month I'm going to believe. Just 1 month. And that 1 month is not necessarily going to manifest your goal entirely. But the shift that you will see within yourself will allow you to believe a little bit better or a little bit higher. So it plays in a different way, but it affects in a very big way. That small thing. I always say to everybody, give it 1 month. Give 1 month of your life to that one belief that has the power or the potential to shift your frequency or shift your, desire and manifest into an expression that how you want to feel it, touch it, hold it, and experience it fully. So believe it. So I say, if you can believe it, simply believe it or empower yourself with education. And this is like, again, right? The bonsai and an oak tree is not a myth. It is true. So if those things can feed into you, that if that can be true, why can something else not be true? We never knew that the phone is possible. It's when we had the phone calls, India to US, back in that time, who would know that you can see person face to face on a daily basis when you are globally so much at distance? Nobody could believe that. When Thomas Alva Edison, he did, right? Who did the light bulb? Yeah.
Yep. Edison.
Did
Yep.
anybody know that that is possible before that? Because the possibility was in the potential. Somebody tapped into it, somebody explored it, so it popped up. It became an expression or manifested physical equivalent. So possibility and a belief in a possibility is a huge thing, and it can change everybody's life. And you can achieve anything that your heart desires. You are meant to be, do, and have everything that your heart desires. So you should, all of us should do that. As long as it is an aligned desire. Like day before yesterday, Ashmi was like, Mom, you cannot just say that any spark given that desire, you should achieve it. It's meant to. What about bad desires? And I was like, I'm not talking about those desires. So I am just specifying good desires, noble desires, a desire that comes with a discernment, which is not harmful to others, but it can be self-directed. It can be self-fulfilling. It can be for the self-well-being, and that's all right. We have been so conditioned to believe that when you think of yourself, you are selfish. We are not selfish when we think of ourselves, of our desires, of if we want to achieve something. Yes, if we cannot be or have a bridge, or if we cannot balance it, it gets difficult. Then it gets rough. Then you become selfish or self-centered. But not attending to yourself doesn't make you a very good soul or a good person. I am also still working on that behavior, on that belief. Because when my grandson is around, and if I'm focused, like today, I was so focused on this, and yesterday I was so focused on creating this and finalizing all the slides and everything, and he was here and I was not able to attend to him, and there were two voices parallel going in. I have to do this, this is needed, and I'm not being selfish. And then there was a judgment that I was passing on myself, that how can I stay away from the love that I'm being, I'm blessed with so much abundant, beautiful love. How can I not, attend to that? Right? But it's so easy for you to, if you are not aware, you will either just feel that chaos, it's running in the background, you don't realize it, and or you will just choose one or the other and be okay with whatever, and just life keeps happening to you. You don't choose. It just whatever choice happens by chance. So that's what we say, like you live on default. So you don't want to choose default. You want to choose the setting that is a desired setting for you, what you can pour into others. If you are dissatisfied or resentful or bitter about what you could not do, then you're not going to be in a space where you can give more love, give more, compassion, kindness, or whatever it is. So be okay with your own choices and your thoughts and your desires. It's good to have it. Now, why do we say that your identity is creating your reality? Why do we say what happens? More than why do we say what is really happening? So we happen to experience a contrast. Contrast is going to occur. Life lives in polarity. If there is night, there is day. If there is happiness, there is sadness. If there is hunger, if there is lack of hunger. If there is whatever there is an extreme polarity to it. Life goes in the rhythmic cycle on both extremes at a given time. If there is a desire, there is a manifestation. If there is desire which is not being accomplished, there is आकांक्षा.
2 बजे फिर मैं कहा देखूं कई बार घड़ी देखी तो नींद ही नहीं आती ना 3 बजा होगा तो 4:30
You can mute one of the participants.
आज जल्दी सो.
So yeah. So what happens is that there is a reactive feedback. It's a loop. And I think part of it we already discussed it. So what it is contrast occurs. Life is on polarity. Life is going to happen and you are going to experience a contrast. Contrast is occurring and we are observing it, and depending on our liking or not, if it's not something that suits us, we start to complain. As we complain, we focus on it. When we talk about it constantly, or even if we are not talking, but we are thinking about it, why did that happen? That shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have done this or that or whatever it is. Now, what is happening is that we are tuned into it so much. And again, right, when you were asking me about manifestation, and I said there is a desire, and then there has to be focus on it. But what often happens is, without our awareness, again, it's a default setting that we tune into the complaint zone. When we don't like something, we talk about it diligently. We are on top of it. I do not like this. Why did this happen? They should have not done this. Then you meet somebody else, you tell them. Then you meet another person, you tell them also. Then you talk to your children, you tell them also. We keep reiterating it so many times that it builds its own frequency. That frequency then activates the law of attraction. And that brings us the matching components. Anything. So it's not about that, okay, you are watching a horror picture and the horror thing is going to happen to you. But if you are constantly talking about that, talking about that, talking about that, now anything that is in resonance with that frequency. So frequency, every emotion has a frequency. And each emotion has a similar, so there is a band, like guilt, shame, fear, those go in the same band. Then courage, judgment also sometimes, all of those go in the same tier. Then love, unconditional love, non-judgment, empathy, compassion, they go in the same. The more we think about it, the more we attract the same exact thing. Similar. It's not, you don't like a person, you talk about those traits constantly. Oh, he is so nudgy, he's so talkative, or he is so mean, he's so this, or she's so that. And then what happens? She may or may not stay in your experience, but another person who is exactly that person, that kind of a person, shows up into your experience, right? So that's how more of it, the same thing, you observe, you talk about it, then the law of attraction brings the similar components. You again reiterate the same thing. You validate it. Now you say, see, I told you that person is like that only. So many times, like we have a few friends, they may not have a very perfect harmonious relationship with each other, but with me it works fine. And one of my friends, she said that just be aware, that it might go south. And I was like, for me it won't, because I refuse to see that side of that person. I refuse to see that side because it doesn't serve me any purpose. Anything that's not my frequency will not come into my experience. And if that person comes into my experience, that person has to rise his or her frequency to the level so that it can match my frequency. Because I refuse to step out of my fortitude or my sanctuary, and I refuse to let my frequency go. When I decide to do that, and if I'm choosing my frequencies to stay on, there is nobody else which is not in resonance with that frequency cannot enter my vicinity. If they do, they raise their frequency. Everything around me recalibrates for me because I am resilient to my frequency. That's the biggest one. Like, if you can decide that this is my frequency and I'm not gonna shift from here, that's not where I want to be, then period. And anytime, like the simplest thing that you can do for yourself is anytime when you want to react to something, and there'll be an urge, it comes like so bursting that you have to let it out and just ask yourself, is this serving me any purpose? Is this for my highest good? Is it going to either change my situation or change that person or change how I feel? No, I'm not going to. We feel that once I let it out, I'll feel good. No, because you are not going to be done. You are going to be repeating it to someone else. Someone else comes to you, are going to come with the same excitement and same aggression of sharing that information. So sharing does not really, right? Actually, don't we say when we share joy, we expand, we enjoy more? The same thing. When you complain more, that's what expands. So now the science behind it, like what is really happening? Life happens and you experience a contrast. Contrast is anything that is not in alignment with how you wanted. As soon as that happens, your emotions get triggered. You feel something. Once you feel something, your brain gets activated and your brain gives it a label. Is this good? Is this bad? It could be the label to even the person, not just the event. And we just label them. Once you label it, now there is a story that starts to attach to it. It's a narrative. Oh, people are always like that. Oh, money is becoming so scarce now. Oh, politics is so bad. oh, the economy is going down. No matter what it is a narrative. So you start talking about it. It's that labeling that you did. Now you're expanding it into a expression that people can understand. So now you start giving it a narrative, and then your identity kicks in. So now if that narrative is sitting good with your identity, then they have a conversation. That yeah, you are right. Now say like my identity. I've trained my identity to focus only on positive. I do not watch any kind of news. Now if somebody is talking to me about news, I say I don't want to even listen to it. Why? Because I know as more I listen to it, I am going to start inviting that, it starts to feed in little by little. It's like a slow poison. We don't even realize it. Right? So what is the narrative? So my narrative is, as soon as something like that, somebody talks about news, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to it. It doesn't change my reality, my frequency. And am I going to be able to do anything about it? The biggest one is politics and economy. Are we contributing in any way? Are we going to change the frequency for them? Are we going to change the economy for them? Then yes, talk about it. If you are going to resolve it, talk about it. It's a good thing then. If you are going to find a solution, then definitely discuss. But are you going to change anything for anybody? If not, then step away from it if it's not serving you purpose. Because that's where that identity feedback is going on. If your identity is not, my identity does not agree, so it will not give a feedback to that loop. But now if somebody tells me, oh, did you know that somebody did follow their purpose and within 6 months, their business picked up like anything. I want to entertain that thought. I want to listen about it. Why? Because that's feeding into my belief. It's allowing me to tune into that frequency. Neuroscience, this is the neuroscience behind it. That it's not, because we are not aware. So like I said, when there is awareness, then you can shift. Now, if you understand, okay, what's going on? And this is a very beautiful subject. I love it. That the amygdala hijack occurs. That when the emotions occur, it's like a smoke alarm. Like how in the smoke alarms in our house, even if we do that fragrance sticks, the agarbatti or a toast burns, it thinks there is fire and starts to go on. That's what our system is doing. As soon as there is an emotion or a surge of emotion which is not in sync with your liking, it starts to start that fire alarm. And even if the situation is not that bad, you start to interact and that narrative starts to build, and your identity feedback loop is so constantly driving. And then what happens is rumination. So even in your relaxed state, you are still constantly pondering on those thoughts constantly. So that's why it's very important. The good thoughts, that more and more, whatever thoughts you let in is what you are going to ponder on. Now, if it's good thoughts, it's pondering. If it's bad thoughts, it's rumination. That you are getting lost in those thoughts and it's not serving you purpose. It's just creating, it's a trap. It creates and triggers the trap. This is one of my favorite. As soon as you shoot a rocket of desire, then this is Abraham Hicks. That's the person I used to listen to a lot. There was like 10 years of my phase that I constantly listened to that and hammered it into me. So it's so beautiful that as soon as you desire something, you shoot a rocket of desire. And as soon as you do that, the source becomes it. What is that source? Source, you can call it the divine. You can call it the highest version of yourself. You can call it the potential energy which is within you. And like I said, that the heads and the tail coexist like a revolving coin. It instantly becomes present in the manifested expression, that you can touch it, feel it, and see it. But the simple science behind it is that when we go anywhere on a journey, there is a departure gate and then there is an arrival gate. Now, we have to depart. So the desire has it departed. But then the arrival gate of that manifested expression, you have to go there. That's the journey that you take. So if you said, I wanted X number of gifts in Christmas, the gifts came at gate 10. You asked at gate 6. But gate 6 is only for departure. It does not receive arrivals. You have to go to the arrival gate to receive that. And that's where most of us are stuck all the time. That we are so stuck at gate 6, and then we innately disagree that why do we have to take that journey and go to gate 10? It's just the universal law, period. Do you ask the airport authority that why do I have to go on arrival gate to receive something or someone? You don't ask that. It's understood because they have trained you. The airport authority has trained you that there is too much confusion if departure and arrival is happening at the same place. So you have to go to the arrival. When you are going on an escalator, do you ever, even by mistake, we don't do it anymore. Do we ever go on the, going up escalator? Do we ever come down from that? Yeah, for fun, kids do it. Sometimes that's a different thing. But we know that, okay, right is going one way and then left is returning the other way, right? Why? Because that is a conditioning.
Yeah.
We have been trained that this is how you have to go about it. This is universe. Universe has its time and again, we know, and the very simplest of example for this is you drop your keys on the table, you leave it on the table, and then you keep searching. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You won't remember. And then you say, okay, anyways, tomorrow I have to go to the job, right? I'll look for it a few hours later. Literally, you go to the bathroom, you sit on a couch, take a remote, and suddenly you'll, oh, maybe let me check there. Why? Because your question and your answer does not exist on the same gate. Your problem and the solution does not exist on the same gate. And your desire and the manifestation also does not exist on the same gate. You have to change the gate. Now, what speed you can go and take that journey and reach that gate is a matter of your frequency and your guidance, your training, that how much have you trained yourself. A
Right.
marathon runner, I
Purushart.
walk my 5 miles, I take a mile, I take 18 minutes. There are people who walk at whatever,
Different speed and
10
yeah.
minutes, 12 minutes, and there are people who have run for 4 minutes. So that's the training that they gave themselves. That's the journey. Once you
Right.
learn and once you do take that journey and you keep practicing, and time will happen, things will happen, and different experiences will come to train you again and again for just the same purpose, so that you train your ability to move fast from gate 6 to gate 10, or from the departure to the arrival. It is nothing to do to make your life difficult. It's only so that you train so hard that then it becomes like this, because it's training you for the bigger goal. When you start achieving small things, then you've practiced the same frequency. The training is the same. When I do 1 mile, first I do 1 mile and it takes me 10 minutes. And then I start to do more and more and more miles. And then it doesn't tire me. It becomes happy quickly. First, when I do 1 mile, it'll be at 10 minutes, but the second mile, I'll be tired by then. I have exerted all my energy, so it'll take longer. But if you have practiced it enough, now you are so resilient. Now you're not getting burnt out, you're not getting tired, you're not getting exhausted, and you keep moving forward, and it just becomes easier and faster. So that's that biggest answer that you want. If you want to go from goal to achieving that goal, it's just the matter of your alignment, your readiness, and your more than anything, it's you willing to go from gate 6 to gate 10, and allowing to stay, allowing yourself to stay focused there. Let not anything else happening around you discourage or distract you. Because things will happen. It will come for that distraction. And again, it's not happening to do you harm. It's happening so that you can strengthen your focus.
Correct. No, that's
Like,
really important because with that strength, how long you can sustain in that situation, that position, that goal, that frequency,
yes,
and that's what is seasoning you to get that goal.
you nailed it. And that's true. And it's just that endurance. You are just building your endurance constantly. But, and we don't ask, right? When we go to the gym, we don't ask, oh, my muscle is breaking after I do the strength training. Why? Because we know that it is breaking, so it regains with strength. It comes back stronger.
True.
It's the same thing, but we
Wow.
refuse to apply it in this way.
Very true. And I'm so happy that I attended this, and this is really helping me to, think very differently. Or it helps me think with a purpose
Think with a purpose.
because I always had this, curiosity, the questions, and a blurry reality or blurry answers. But now it's more meaningful answers.
Ah, thank you. I am glad. I'm so glad. And trust me, everything requires work. Nothing happens just by chance. A child, I see my grandson every day, right? So many times they fall, and we don't think, is he ever going to learn walking? No, we know he'll learn walking. But
True.
when we fall, we get distressed and we start doubting, will I ever reach gate 10?
Hmm.
And
True,
it's
but
so
this is
beautiful.
really
The more I talk
interesting.
about it,
Yes.
the more I absorb it. And the biggest reason actually I want to teach this also is that the more I teach, the more I revise, the more I learn, the more I ingrain it. And it's getting inscribed in me. It's becoming a part of my DNA. That it's a wiring. Whatever you put your focus on is changing your wiring in your nervous system. It's in your neural system. It's neural pathways are being built, and it's new pathways are being found by discussing, talking about all this and reassuring these things.
Exactly. In my childhood, while growing up, I had one of my uncle, and up till I became 20, almost every second day, every third day, we used to have such type of spiritual discussion.
Wow.
And yeah, I was privileged. I never knew the importance of it during those days. But, I was so much indulging into discussing this, and rest of the people around us, they were saying like, what you guys are like again, chatting. There is no meaning to it, because they can't understand, the arc of it. And then me and my uncle, we keep on discussing this type of, spiritual and philosophical topics. And all this while in last like 30 years, I was missing the rewiring or, refiring my neurons
That's
so
true.
that, I can refresh those knowledge, that,
And that's so
thoughts.
perfect. You use the right words, rewiring and refiring those neurons. And Joe Dispenza says it. You may like that. Like, what wires together, fires together. What fires together, wires together. So
Mm,
the more you
interesting.
talk about it, then it starts to entangle into each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's very
And
important. It's આપણામાં કહેવાય છે, right? Satsang,
huh,
right? Now we understand the deeper meaning of it. The company you keep is very important. Why? Because that is feeding into your psyche. That's what's building your, paradigm. Whether
yeah.
are you that oak tree that has that
Or
expansive
the bonsai.
vessel or a bonsai plate, right? Or are you going to stay in the bonsai zone on the shallow plate and shrink your identity, shrink who you are meant to be? All of us, we are, including me. I am now experiencing the expansion of my potential, but still, I feel there is so much and I should be doing so much more. And I do get, sometimes worked up with that, that, like I was saying, focus is also good, but overactive is not good. Rumination is not good. Pondering is good. What are we doing? Like, we have to become so aware, so conscious that we start to take actions. Most of us, we want it, we like it, but we kind of want it and we are okay with it. Most of us, the set point that we discussed is like most of us are settled with whatever comes our way. Do not settle for less than who you are meant to be. Not
Very true.
less
Very
than who you
powerful.
are. Don't settle for less than who you are, because you are maybe not already less only. As much as more you are still less because you have so much more. So don't settle for anything that is less than the highest, fullest potential, that exists for you to experience and expand into and become that expression. We are all that oak tree. And we have that seed within us. The seed,
Yep.
it's so beautiful. The seed is within the flower and the flower is within the seed. What we allow. Do we want to stay a
So
seed,
beautiful.
or do we want to let ourselves bloom into the full blown, that fully bloomed flower?
Nice.
And
No,
like
it was a really beautiful session, and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute out of it.
thank you.
And can't wait for the second session to go through rest of the slides. So please do plan for it.
Yes, I will. I will. Absolutely. And I'm planning actually to constantly staying stuck. So again, right? When I'm teaching something to somebody, so I say to everybody, if any coach comes and tells you that I am free of the chaos, they are lying.
Yep.
This is possible for us to share because we experience it, but we have we have awakened that higher self or that potential, which tunes into, which we are able to tune into to immediately recognize that, oh, I got stuck. Oh, I am in the loop. People and lifetimes and don't realize it. But the more and more we start to recognize that potential, more and more we start to align with it, now we tune into that part of us which will constantly be guiding us, which is telling us silently. It doesn't get loud and aggressive like we do. That is a very gentle whisper. And it comes time and again to remind you, you are better than this. You are more than this. You have so much more to you. But we'll say, oh, we don't have time. We don't have the same environment. We can't do it. It's hard. It's not possible. We have other responsibilities. We have other challenges. We have other reasons.
Yeah. So I guess that message is being delivered at gate 10 at arrival, and we are still stuck at departure.
Yes,
So we have to make that journey to get to
absolutely.
that level to receive it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And every day is a beautiful journey. If you start to understand that it's like a practice match, then you don't get nervous.
Yep.
You get nervous. I get nervous. But I don't stay nervous. That's the thing. You will still experience the contrast, but you won't
Yeah.
get stuck in that contrast. You will be okay. The journey is from the desire to attention to action.
Right. Yeah.
And now I am in that action
Beautiful.
zone and I refuse to move from the. Yes, you will come here.